What's going on, guys? So today I want to show off a piece of silver that a viewer sent. His name is Chris. This is an extremely nice surprise. This is from 1974. This piece of silver is representing a locomotive. It's the International Locomotive Ingot Collection. Doing some research on this, there was 100 different pieces. You could find these on eBay if like you're really into trains and stuff and you're really into history and you're really into silver. This is an awesome collection to start. I think there was 100 pieces, full-size pieces. And there was even like a treasure chest type display case you could put them in. You could find the complete sets like on eBay for a couple $1,000s if you're looking to just get it all at once, or it might be a fun treasure hunt, who knows. But I not only want to talk about silver a little bit because although I love this piece, I am putting silver on hold for now, and I'm actually spending money on the stock market, as you probably saw in the title somewhere. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But first I want to read this letter and talk about this silver a little bit more. I think it's really cool. It says, Dear Jeff, hello, my name is Chris and I am from Bauxite, I hope I'm saying that right, Bauxite, Arkansas. First I would like to say that I love your videos and have been a subscriber for years. The first video I remember watching of yours after I subscribed was about your thoughts about Nut and Fancy, but I had watched many of your videos before then. You were one of the first YouTube channels I subscribed to. Anyway, I am sending you this general ingot I found when cleaning out my step-grandfather's belongings. First thing I thought was, if this is silver, I bet Jeff would love this. So I sent it your way. From what I gathered, the ingot is 0.9% silver and part of a collection of ingots modeled after famous trains. Hope Christina doesn't get upset if I accidentally sparked yet another hobby of yours. Take care, wash your hands, and stay inside, from Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. I really, really appreciate it. I am definitely washing my hands. They're almost raw from scrubbing them every day, multiple times, as you should. I did a little research on this, and as I mentioned, it's part of a larger collection. But as far as the research went, it seems that these are just under 2 ounces of sterling silver. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's like 1.8 something ounces of sterling silver. If you don't know, sterling silver is 92.5% pure silver. So you're looking at a little bit over 1.5 ounces of pure silver, okay, or 0.999. Somewhere in that range, you'd have to figure out the math and, you know, do more research, finding out exactly how much. I didn't write it down, but like I said, it was 1.8 something troy ounces of sterling silver. But it is beautiful. It's really, really cool. If I get a closer shot, it's very reflective here. All right, but this says General, so this is the General locomotive. Now, if you look at the back here, although it's very highly reflective, we can see a little bit of information about this train. The General, 1855. Stolen by Union raiders in the Civil War, the General led Confederates on an 87-mile chase through the South. The General's role in history has made it one of the best-known American locomotives. So I think that's really, really neat. Like I said, just beautiful detail in this particular art bar. So anyway, I really did want to thank Chris. This was a beautiful piece, and this will definitely stay in my collection. Although I'm not looking to sell or buy any silver right now, I am very much still collecting it and always will. Always, no matter what. I just really, really enjoy it for a multitude of reasons, but mostly it's for savings, but to me it's also treasure. It's just really cool to have silver. So I really do appreciate that. Now the other part of this video is talking about the stock market, okay? So this is just a representation, something to look at, I suppose, while I have this quick discussion. Because number one, I am brand new, fresh meat to the stock market. There's a lot to be learned. It's pretty involved, but you know, I would say after 2 weeks of reading about things and researching how the stock market works and how stocks work, and I have a better understanding of what's going on. But of course, you could do this for many years and still be learning things, all right? So the one thing I have to say is that in the beginning, it was very intimidating. Everyone knows what the stock market is, kind of. But when you really dive into what's going on there, it's pretty simple. It's a very simple concept, okay? Companies put out these shares. It's a part of the company that you own. People buy them and sell them. You know, the idea obviously is to buy them when they're cheap and sell them when they're worth more money. Okay, that's how you make money in the stock market. However, there's a ton of different ways to make money besides that. I learned all about dividends and, options trading, all kinds of stuff, right? I'm not going to dive into any of that because I am far, far from an expert and even knowledgeable. I'm still learning all this myself, okay? So I would highly recommend, doing a little, search here on YouTube. There's plenty of people, their channels are dedicated to investing in the stock market. But anyway, what I decided to do was I sold a couple things and I put $300 in the market. And I did that now immediately because it's time sensitive. Okay, the market's already starting to bounce back a little bit. Now I print out this chart of the Dow Jones just as a visual representation for people who know nothing about this kind of stuff. Clearly, if you're an investor, if you're a stockbroker or anything like that, you know all this stuff already, okay? This is just me explaining kind of what's going on and my reason for jumping into the stock market right now. Because to be honest, I've always been a little bit interested in the stock market. I had posted something on Instagram and I was talking about way back in high school. I want to say it was 11th or 12th grade. I think maybe I was a junior, so it was probably 11th grade. I had a business class, and one of the things we did in the business class is he gave everyone an imaginary $1,000 to spend on the stock market, and we had to learn about it a little bit. Now, it's been so long, I didn't retain any of that information whatsoever until I started reading about it again. But I put $1,000 in all these different stocks, and I actually did very well. You know, it was just an experiment. It wasn't real money, it was fake money. But since then, I've always had just a little bit of interest in getting into it, but I never had the initiative to actually do it, nor did I have the extra money. When I wanted to actually get serious about it, there was a $500 minimum for most stock brokerages, and then there was, you know, trading costs and stuff. Things have changed quite a bit. It's very, very different now. It's a lot easier than ever to actually get involved and buy stocks and stuff. But anyway, what I wanted to show you here is that a lot of different, you know, companies their stocks end up being pretty stable. Okay, so yeah, of course, it's always gonna be a little up and down, right? But we have these major events like what we're going through right now. You have a massive drop in the market. People get scared when bad things happen. They get really scared, and when they see their stocks start to drop a little bit from people selling it, they sell theirs. And then as everyone's selling it, the value of these stocks go down. Okay, so you see these big dips when we have these major events. Y2K, 9/11, right now, you know, all these different recessions, it definitely changes the market. And for me, and just in my thinking alone, and obviously people have been talking about this too, but right now is a great time to buy these stocks, in my opinion. Only in my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. You know, take it for what it's worth. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But what I'm seeing is not this particular, I obviously don't have the money to invest in Dow Jones. I've actually split up my $300 investment into multiple very cheaper stocks, but in my opinion, extremely stable markets. Markets that stay at a certain price very, very consistently. And because of everything that's going on, took a dump, and buying it cheap now for the long-term investment. Again, I'm not looking to make money this month, this year. I'm looking at 5-year, 10-year investments, okay? When the market goes up, which it will do eventually, I don't know how long it's gonna take, no one does. You know, obviously, this is still a gamble, no one really knows it's gonna happen, but based on the history, there's a lot of consistency, okay? So when this does bounce back, my cheap little stocks will be worth more money. Just like the silver, just like physically collecting silver, one day, I could take my money in my personal little savings account and cash it in when I have important things to do. So that's how I'm looking at it. Again, not going to go into details on what stocks and this, that, and the other. You could find out. It's pretty obvious for a lot of people who are even remotely interested in this kind of stuff. But that's what I'm doing. I still will always enjoy silver. I will still always collect and buy silver. And occasionally, if the prices go up, sell a little bit. But right now, I'm very heavily focused in the stock market just because it's such a great time to get in on it. Now, I will tell you that my initial plans, I wasn't planning on actually getting into it now, but looking at everything that's going on, I knew that it would start bouncing back very soon. And as you can see, if I zoom in a little bit here, once we had the big dip, and then you get a little bit of news like, oh, okay, you know, society is going to be back to normal soon. The numbers dropped here. Oh, okay, people start getting a little bit more confident, and then they start buying again, and the prices start going back up. So the prices have already, no one truly knows if it hit rock bottom or not, but I'm very comfortable buying in this entire section here, okay? Because more than likely in the future, it'll all be up here somewhere. All right, does that make sense? So even though you might not get the best price, and even though it might still bottom out, you know, the president makes an announcement that we'll all have to stay home for the next year, it's gonna go all the way back down again. But still, being in the general range is a good idea. Every day that this progresses is going to make it a little bit harder to get those lower prices. But truthfully, no one really knows when it's going to bottom out or whatever. It's all a guess. But I'm very comfortable with where I stand, but the reason I jumped in now is because I feel like the prices will go back up a little bit. My initial goal or my initial decision was to use some of the money from the stimulus package when people do get their checks and get paid and their direct deposits and all the rest of that stuff. I was going to use some of that money as for savings. Not because I don't need it, because I can certainly use it, and I will have to use some of it for bills. It's very, very important right now. But it's money that wasn't expected. Now, I'm completely against the stimulus package. I'm not going to get into that at all in this video. The black and white of it is I don't think it's the solution to the problem. However, I know that it's going to help millions of people. So be it. It's out of my hands. I don't get a decision on that. What I've liked to have seen the government give it as an option. It should have been, hey, go to our website or go to these multiple websites, because obviously you can have all of America go to one website, it'll crash. Here's some websites, they stagger the dates or whatever you do. Go here and sign up for it. If you want the stimulus check, go ahead and sign up for it. If you don't want it, don't sign up for it. But again, I'm not going to get, dive deep into that. If it's going to help you guys out, awesome. I wish the best of luck to everyone. But because it's a surprise and it's not money I was ever expecting, I'm going to take a chunk of that. I'm going to put it into the stock market as a bank account. Okay? Because in my opinion, some of these stocks is a bank account. And it's not like you can't lose money, but it is extremely, extremely unlikely that some of these stocks will lose money in the long term. Okay? And I'll say it again, I'm no financial advisor whatsoever. But if you've ever had an interest in the stock market, I would really just suggest learning more about it. Okay? Even if you don't actually invest, pretend like you did. Do what I did in high school. Take a pretend $1,000, get a piece of paper out or put it in your cell phone or something. Hey, what would have happened if I bought this stock today? And see what it looks like next week and next month and next year. If nothing else, for your own curiosity. But anyway, I just wanted to make the video to thank Chris, show off this beautiful little piece of silver, and just touch upon the fact that I am starting to invest in the stock market on a very, very tiny little scale. Okay, I don't have the money to make serious money in the stock market. But again, for me, it's a better interest rate than the banks. I'll leave it at that. I also invested in one Treasury savings bond for the same reason. Okay, it matures in 30 years, so I'm not going to make any money anytime soon. But in 20 years, I'll double my money, guaranteed, which is a very nice concept. Now, I only throw $100 at it, but when I have extra income, which is not very often at all, instead of buying this toy or that toy, perhaps I'll start investing in my future. Now, I'll tell you, part of the reason why I'm talking about all this stuff is for the younger viewers. Being that I'm 35 years old right now, it's a little late in the game to start investing for my future and my possible retirement. I mean, how society looks today doesn't look like I'm actually ever going to be able to retire, but who knows, maybe I will. And if that day ever does come, I don't want to be too broke, If I can go back and I could do it all over, I would have started investing money in my future when I was a lot younger. Some kids are extremely smart. They do that kind of stuff. They have a savings account at 15, 16 years old, So that's my message to all the young people. It's not like specifically the stock market or specifically silver or precious metals. None of that stuff really matters, okay? Because sometimes it gets very complicated. It's just a very simple message. If you're young, start saving your money, because I'm promising you, regardless of who you are, where you are, how much money you make, what your future holds, you will be happier with more money. Now, money doesn't buy you happiness, but as my grandfather always said, money buys you freedom. And unfortunately, we are all a slave to the dollar. So many of us have to go do things to make money so we can eat, so we can pay our electric bill, so we can be in a home. Everything in our life revolves around money. It's really unfortunate, but it's just how the world works. So money can't buy you happiness. There's billionaires who are sitting lonely in a room somewhere. It's not going to buy you friendships. It's not going to buy you love or any of that kind of stuff, right? The most important thing in life is love and friendship and caring and giving and all that kind of stuff, right? However, the fact is we all actually need money to survive, and the more you have, the more comfortable you can be. So it's just really something to think about, especially if you're younger. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.